to the biggest talking point for market participants this morning, then the December Consumer Price Index that witnessed a seasonally adjusted 0.4% rise coming in, putting the 12-month inflation rate at 2.9%. Now, the street was estimating just respective readings of 0.3% and 2.9%. Then, excluding food and energy, the core CPI annual rate was 3.2%, a notch down from the month before, and slightly better when you compare it with the 3.3% forecast as well. Now, the core measure rose 0.2% on a monthly basis, and also 0.1 percentage point less than expected. Now, much of the move higher in the CPI came from a 2.6% gain in energy prices for the month, pushed higher by a 4.4% surge in gasoline. That was also responsible for 40% of the index's gain. Now, the data, of course, pointing to an inflation trend that lines up with the Federal Reserve's view for a slower path of rate cuts this year. Let's also keep it going with some commentary then. How is the latest inflation print likely to impact Fed's rate cut stance? Can investors then expect the Fed to hit pause on rate cuts? And additionally, how can we expect global and emerging markets to then perform in the medium term? Let's also go across and listen into the view coming in from markets commentator Geoff Dennis, who gave us his opinion about the same. Listen into what he then had to say.
Inflation is indeed stabilizing, but it's stabilizing above the Fed's target of 2%, stabilizing around 3%. And so I don't think anything we've had here in the CPI report makes it any easier for the Fed to consider rate cuts at the moment. And the most recent dot plot from December is 2 interest rate cuts in 2025. And when I wrote my own outlook for emerging markets in 2025 about a week ago, I talked about 2 rate cuts in 2025 also. I think to get to 2 rate cuts this year will be very difficult. I think the call has got to be now somewhere between 0 and 2, and I would not be at all surprised if the Fed decides to keep rates on hold all year, unless, that is, the economy slows dramatically, which at the moment it doesn't look as if it's going to do.